Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the watch list video for Friday, January 13th. Quick reminder, the market's closed on Monday, so we got a 3-day weekend. Starting off as I always do with the daily on the SPY. We gapped up a little bit, sold off, and ended up going out near the highs. I think the Dow was up 200 and something points today. I made a separate video, but I'll show you real quick a couple of the calls from the chat room today. Gunil gave MMV over 350 right there. Look at the instant response, the instant profits, I should say. Lewis, Kern inside fives, which means this 5-minute candle was inside of this one. There was the trigger. Great post by Lewis. And I gave XPON over high of day 267. And the reason for this, just a morning gapper that was consolidating, and the breakout ended up, I mean, it shows here that it went to about 340, but that's because that's when I took the screenshot. There you can see what it actually did. It went to almost 4 from the 267. And then lastly, Carvana, CVNA, that I gave the idea over the mic over the high of day, which was over this opening 5-minute candle, 577. The reason, it was already in play because it had a big squeeze yesterday, so it was on our watch list. If you watched my video last night, you knew that. So the high of day break, 578. You had yesterday's high of 583 just above, as I call that another catalyst for higher prices, and you can see what happened. Thing went nuts. So there was some highlights from today. Great teamwork by everyone. Make sure that you understand, I'm a day trader. None of this is investment advice. All of our trades, or all of my trades anyway, are taken on an intraday basis, but I always start with the daily chart to find the in-play stocks, if that makes sense. KERN is on the list for tomorrow because of the big volume. Went to 205, I believe, but closing well off its highs at 165 still earns it a place on a chart. I've already talked about CVNA. With that kind of volume, it's kind of the Twitter thesis is that it's in the middle of a short squeeze, so we're certainly going to watch that one tomorrow. KALA. I'm embarrassed to say I was out of my office for a few minutes when this thing triggered today. I had it on bounce watch, and I'll show you. It looked about like this. You kind of had, there's the opening 5-minute candle. You kind of intraday cup and handle. It was overdue for a bounce. I already talked about in the video last night. I love this kind of below 20 at the 20-day on the daily and the 200-day. And there's the trigger. It's just a kind of a Tokyo, or I think somebody in chat called it through 2050. And it was off to the races from there. And I've been watching this for several days, and I missed the trade. So anyway, it is gone back on watch for tomorrow because we did bounce off the 20-day. Keep in mind, this thing ran to over 56 bucks the other day. Now it's still sitting at 23, and we have a green day behind us, so it does deserve a spot on a chart. BIOR, just a recent high flyer. We got a red day. I'd really kind of like to see it come down to the moving averages, but I'm still going to start watching it tomorrow. HTGM had a massive volume day here that topped out at 522, went sideways for a while, and then today more volume and topped out at 507. So this one, I believe it's a recent reverse split. Definitely worth keeping on watch. BKKT, I believe this is Bitcoin related and everything Bitcoin related. And I haven't said this in a long time. All the Bitcoin plays were in play. So we're going to watch that one. HKD, this is a weird one. But if I zoom in, you guys know I've been watching this for a bounce ever since it had this big rip. And every day, lower high, every day a red day. It's almost round tripped. That's not very bullish because everybody in this is underwater, right? Every long in this from the last week or so, a little over a week, is underwater. I've said this 3 days in a row. I still think if we get an A-plus bounce play setup, we could get a $2 or $3 or $4 move in a very short period of time. So irrespective of the underwater folks, I still think it's worth having on bounce play watch, so I will. It hasn't met the parameters yet in all these days, so I'll keep watching it until it does. EBON, Bitcoin play that quietly moved from 3 to almost 10 in about a week. I never even saw it, but maybe because these big volume spikes, were still barely a million shares. It's a thin one, but it is setting up for a potential bounce, especially if the Bitcoin plays go again. So it's kind of what you call a low-key Bitcoin play. RVNC, massive rip, 3 days lower on declining volume, goes right back on bounce watch, just like it was today. CVAC, it's real gappy, right? So it's weird, but it still went from like 650 to almost 13, and then you had a red day and another red day. So I am going to put it on bounce watch, but it definitely is a weird chart there. LASE had the big pop yesterday. Quiet inside day today. Looking for a third day play. And lastly, APRN is a potential gapper because in after hours it's trading at $1.17. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the chat room in the morning.